Ridiculous questions.
Meticulously debated.
This is Tell Me I'm Wrong.
Well, I was happy just last night. I've been losing sight, sighting all the falling fights. What is this if this ain't right? Back again, the monster rights. Losing life until that night. Life never let him lie. Light is mine, my past is right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tell Me I'm Wrong. Back again for another debate. I am Ryan, and I'll be moderating this week.
I'm Josh, and I'll be one of your debaters.
I am Joe, and I will also be a debater.
So I don't know if you guys have seen all of the media blitz that we are experiencing from King Kong and Godzilla, the beef to end all beefs.
So obviously we've been watching a lot of March Madness. I've been watching a lot of wrestling.
Same.
And it has been nothing but constant commercials for this big lizard and this big monkey fighting and just destroying poor New York City once again for like the 110th time in its history.
Does it take place in New York City?
Yeah, I think it looked like it.
I thought it was not. Didn't they have like Kong Island or Skull Island or?
Well, yeah, but this is the Clash, so he's not on Kong Island anymore.
Have you all ever seen a Godzilla or a King Kong movie? I remember the King Kong movie from back in the olden days where he's like on there with a fake woman, and then I know Peter Jackson did one. I remember I saw Godzilla when it came out in like 1990, whatever it came out, and it had Matthew Broderick in it.
I was gonna say the Matthew Broderick one.
That one was terrible, but not bad.
Now, I actually saw the most recent Godzilla movie. I don't know why. I don't really remember. Like, I didn't want to see it.
Probably because you're trying to get freaky.
Yeah, you probably don't remember because you were making out during the majority of it.
There it is.
Do you exclusively make out during fight scenes of mythical creatures?
No, it doesn't have to be fight scenes.
Okay.
Oh, it could just be any part of the movie.
Literally any scene, as long
Exposition.
as when that frame comes up for the new, like, whatever production company is making this, his lips are warmed up and ready to
Once
go.
we get through once we get through the ads, then it's game on.
Except for sex scenes, out of respect.
Yeah, he needs, that's technique.
Exclusively not sexy.
Which is wild because that means when he went to see the Ninja Turtles, he couldn't make out during any of that movie because that's literally all that movie is.
I was about to say, especially all the Godzilla sex scenes. I don't know if you've ever seen Godzilla sex.
I think in the 1998 one, he has babies.
Godzilla does?
Yeah. That's the whole plot of the movie.
His eggs are set in Madison Square Garden, which seems like that place is definitely, that's where, if I was going to animal in New York City, that's where I would want to give birth, is to Madison Square Gardens, because it's par for the course there.
Now, the thing that I can't quite get when I'm watching these, and maybe it has to do with all the Godzilla sex, I don't know. Why are they fighting?
So I have no idea why Godzilla and King Kong are fighting. And apparently this is like a ancient battle that they continue to wage, the war of the monsters or whatever. But I don't know why they hate each other.
Why do they have to do it in a city too? Why can't they just do it in like Kansas? Like, there's lots of open space out there. Like,
what I'm confused is why if Godzilla is so prevalent in Japan, which is where you always heard it, why is it suddenly New York's problem?
Because America likes to steal all the good ideas and bring them over here.
So here's the thing. This movie doesn't really interest me. I like action, but this is sort of like action for action's sake, which I don't like, and I like action with a plot. I want a reason to go, and so
he wants to miss something good when he's making out.
Exactly. Yeah, I want to miss something. You know what I mean? So
do you make out when you watch movies at home, or is it like exclusively a theater experience?
It's better in the theater.
That's a little weirder that you just said that. Like,
I mean, I'm a weird guy.
That is better. It's better when people are watching.
Yeah. I thought that was universal. Anyway, so to the topic, I think what it came down to was I decided that I liked the idea of this movie and the conceit that there are these two epic forces and they are waging a war against each other. and
for unknown reasons.
For unknown reasons, but we're going to figure out what those reasons are. So let's talk about some real pairings for this type of movie that are going to really bring in the audiences. Now, each of you have prepared a pairing. I think both of you are pretty excited about the topics that you're bringing to the table this week. But I don't think I've ever seen Joe this antsy to just start laying down some debate topics. So I'm going to let Joe go first.
So look behind the curtain, peeling the curtain back, listeners. Every week when we get off of we stop recording our podcast, we usually spend like 10, maybe sometimes 15 minutes
just
discussing
hysterically
what
crying.
we should do that next week. Yeah, we do. It is a lot of tears of whether or not we think people will still keep listening to us idiots talk. But usually we spend a few minutes trying to figure out what we're going to do next week and what we're going to talk about. And Josh brought up this idea of Godzilla versus Kong, and we said we would replace it with other monsters. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds good. I walked upstairs and I was like, who the heck am I going to choose? And I started thinking about it. We recorded last Tuesday, I think, and I've been thinking about literally until last night this hit me. And I thought, okay, they need to make sense to have a beef. They need to be kind of scary. And two names came to mind. These are two names we've discussed on this podcast.
Mike and Molly.
No, I chose two entities in my battle. Starting out in this corner as Godzilla himself, I chose none other than Barney, the purple Tyrannosaurus Rex. And in the role of King Kong, Big Bird coming in hot. So it's going to be a Big Bird versus Barney beast fighting extravaganza. Let that sink in, that picture. Yeah, it looks like some Power Rangers villains fighting each other. But I'm going to give you some background that's going to make you think, oh, this could actually happen.
You know, considering the amount of sex and violence within the Muppet universe and the amount of sex we just detailed within the Godzilla verse, pretty good choices, if I do say so myself.
It tracks, right?
Have we brought up Barney before? I don't remember that.
Ryan, we've done 2 whole episodes about Barney. Do you not remember those?
Ryan was drunk and making out, probably.
All right. So we got Barney and we got Big Bird. These are interesting choices, and Joe has told us that he has weaved an incredible fiction. So I'm excited to hear that as we get into it. But I do need to know what the competition is bringing.
So I thought long and hard about this because...
That's what she said.
Thank you, Joe. Because, much like Joe, I really struggled with it. I was like, what would really be even better than Godzilla vs. King Kong?
Which is weird to me because I feel like after when we had our conversation last week, you were like, I've already got my 2, which made me really nervous and uncomfortable because I had no idea who I was
just playing mind games. I had no clue. So I was thinking, what is the most
that tracks
titanic battle that has been waged within our world that is talked about for generations, that comes up so frequently? Who could be these two people that fight and we finally figure out who won, King Kong or Godzilla? And so that is why I went with my dad versus your dad.
RJ versus Bill, a clash of the titans.
We
got Billzilla and RJ Kong.
Wait. I have a question. Because this is very Josh Ballard of you. Are you doing the meta idea of your dad, like the royal you versus my dad, where it's like just this idea of, oh, my honor student could kick your honor student's ass type situation? Or are you doing specifically Bill Ballard?
No, so essentially what I'm looking at here is the royal you. It is all of our dad versus all of our dad.
Okay.
Because everybody has a story of saying my dad could kick your dad's ass or vice versa. Yeah. You know, talk about dads fighting, debates on the playground, debates as adult, the dads actually debating which of them would win in a fight. You know, it just goes on and on and on. And it's something that we never get to settle because it so rarely happens. And so I think if we had two giant dads fighting in like a proper location for two dads to fight, I think it would be the blockbuster film of the year. And I just think it would get my attention. However, for purposes, if we want to talk about it as R.J. Konginson versus Bill Zilla, we can do that. But it's just all of our dads.
I think we will need to ascribe some specific people, but everyone can know as we're describing the dads, just think of your dad.
I think this fight would have to take place in Lowe's.
Yeah, almost certainly in a Lowe's or any hardware store.
It's actually in a parking lot where one side is Lowe's and one side is Home Depot.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. I'm going to have to keep that in mind.
Or I feel like maybe Lowe's and Walmart, because I feel like they're always next to each other somehow.
Or Target, where every dad takes their wife for date night.
All the good ones.
Because they're like, well, I enjoy Lowe's, but I know my woman enjoys the Target. So that's where we're going this evening.
My old lady loves to go in there and buy that Joanna Gaines stuff.
I tell you what, the Magnolia.
So we have
that Chip. He's pretty funny, though. I'll tell you, I read his book. Well, I was going to read his book. I bought it. I may not read it.
I got it on tape, and I was listening to it. And then before I realized it, I'd already switched back over to Car Talk.
Who turned off the NASCAR race? My dad does not watch NASCAR or listen to books on tape. So
but again, this is the meta dad.
This is any dad.
It's just the concept of dads. The concept of dads fighting are an avatar for your dad and somebody else's dad.
All right, so we have Barney and Big Bird, the purple dinosaur and the big yellow bird. And then we have my dad, quotations, versus your dad, quotations.
Yep.
So part of the draw of Godzilla versus King Kong is they're like these super monsters that have, I mean, I don't really know the lore, but, Godzilla has like laser breath that he shoots.
Ryan, the people need a proper explanation of the lore of these creatures. Could you please just give us a little bit of backstory on the Kong and Godzilla lore? Just to reset everybody at home.
Absolutely.
Just to make sure I understand where we're going with this.
Absolutely.
I can't debate if I don't know where to begin.
Right. Totally. So Godzilla was this just normal lizard growing up 1,000 years ago. And then
real humble beginnings, right?
Yeah. Yep. West Philadelphia. Just a humble lizard from West Philadelphia. Had some big dreams and found
Terranium is where he spent most of his days.
You got to watch out for those Philadelphia lizards.
They'll get you. And so he spent some time around the nuclear plant that was in town. And one day he fell in and he ate all the plutonium. And then it fused with his DNA. And now he's Godzilla. So then we got King Kong. And on Kong Island, he was just this gorilla, just like living normally. And then he lived there so long, he just kept growing. And then nobody really knew. They were like, oh, that's a big gorilla. And they're like, oh, that's a really big gorilla.
If I remember right from the wiki I briefly saw, in there like a big montage of him just doing like a shit ton of push-ups and sit-ups.
Yeah, he
gains on gains.
Once again, so yeah, he made his way to Philadelphia and he ran the stairs and he punched some meat.
So Kong's in Philadelphia too?
Well, because he needed the montage steps.
Oh shoot! What was that song that was playing during that montage?
And funnily enough, Eye of the Tiger, even though he's a gorilla.
Was it Eye of the Tiger or Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch? Good Vibrations.
Anyway, so that's the background for Godzilla and King Kong. Completely 100% true and accurate.
Fantastic.
Well, I'm glad you told us all that. That has nothing to do with the people I chose, but I appreciate you going into that great detail about these people.
The point that I'm getting is that these are super beasts, super monsters, and they have these incredible abilities. So it's not going to be enough to just have Barney versus Big Bird. You've got to have Super Barneyzilla versus Big Bird Kong. So I want you guys to talk about some special abilities and just kind of the way that they fight, because Godzilla is all about, he's using the tail, he's using the bite, and he's got the laser. And then King Kong is, he's going to get over you and he's going to come down with that punch. He's going to climb. Those are the styles they're going for. So I need you guys to lay it out. What kind of styles are we looking at? We'll start with Joe.
All right, give me a little background. I'm going to start with Barnzilla. He is a purple anthropomorphic Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, in anticipation of you all asking me to spell anthropomorphic and or define anthropomorphic,
or say it correctly,
I went ahead and defined it for you. Anthropomorphic.
You got 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Anthropomorphic it is defined as the attribution of human traits, emotions, or intentions of non-human entities, which I think accurately describes both of the individuals I picked, both of the non-human entities, if you will.
I would say most
Barney,
puppets are anthropomorphized.
Yeah. Barney, his goal is to convey educational messages through songs and small dance routine with a friendly attitude. Now, Josh, I saw this and it made me think of you. They are actually trying in the works for a revival of Barney that's been announced but hasn't started so far. And apparently, Daniel Kaluuya's production company is involved and wants to do it.
Oh,
this means nothing to me.
I saw that and I was like, oh, yeah, you would know who he is. He's in Get Out and Black Panther.
Oh,
He's the
yes,
leader of the
I do
tribe
know him.
of Black Panther.
I do know him.
So.
I didn't know his last name.
Barney does have some friends that he could call upon if he needs help. Baby Bop, BJ, and Riff. There are some other dinosaurs there from the playground that are offered to help. I've got some special moves I'll talk about here in a little bit, but Barney's attack is built around his power and just his ability to overwhelm his opponent. And he goes with a combo of strength from his legs, the power of that long jaw full of sharp, pointy teeth. He clamps down your and just goes to town on you. And he's got those. He just drives with his legs into the ground. And he's got little T-Rex arms. Yeah, a little bit. He's got little T-Rex arms, so they ain't doing nothing for him. But he don't need that. He's gonna get you with the bite, with his feet, and then he's got some special attacks we'll talk about whenever Ryan tells me it's time.
This is the time.
Okay. His special attack is the Super De-Duper Tail Attack, a spin move where he builds up inertia with his tail and hits you with the spiked portion as long as he can. His special move, finishing move, whatever you want to call it, is called the Song of the Dinosaur. Barney sings his famous song in a dull, lucid pitch, and along with his magical abilities, puts his opponents into a euphoric, almost unconscious state, which allows him to spring into action and take them out.
Interesting. Okay, you got some psychic abilities going on.
Yep. Big Bird is a bright yellow anthropomorphic canary and or condor bird. I didn't know this, but even though he's large, he's very light on his feet, roller skates, ice skates, dance, swims, rides a unicycle, as well as singing, writing poetry, drawing. And if Barnzilla's friends show up, Baby Bot, BJ, and Riff, Big Bird's got plenty of friends he could call on from the street to assist him in all-out war. And he's only one of the 2 Muppets to have his own Hollywood Walk of Fame, star on Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Who's the other?
Big Bird would use his...
Who's the other?
Elmo.
Oh.
Duh.
Big Bird's
Cookie
attack
Monster in the shaft. Again.
is based on his reach and his strength. He uses his long legs to not only attack, but as well to evade attacks from other enemies. So if Barnzilla goes with a swing of the tail, Big Bird may be able to jump. He may do like a little flippy flip and go over it, roll through it. Big Bird's finishing move is called the ABC 1-2-3, which is a spinning roundhouse kick, except it's in reverse. He actually looks like he's doing a backflip, kind of similar to what Kofi Kingston does, Josh, with his what's it called? SOS, yeah. But it's a backwards roundhouse kick, and but it's in a backflip and spins and takes you down. His special move is called Wings of Fury. He can't fly, but he will use his powerful wings to flap his wings back and forth, which creates a hindrance to your vision. It creates quite a dust storm. You can't see what you're doing. and also even blows you back, so you lose your steady ground, you lose your ability to stand up and fight hard. He often uses the Wings of Fury to set his opponents up, and then does the kill stroke of the ABC 1, 2, 3.
It's a good combo.
Puts him down to the ground.
It almost sounds like this is kind of like a fighting game. Like you've got these moves to set up. I like the imagery that you're painting. We've got the sidekicks that can come in, maybe even for like a spinoff or a sequel. They each have really good branding. I feel like you're going to be able to build. Oh no,
I've set up the BCU.
What is the BCU?
The Beast Cinematic Universe.
Okay.
So far, I've got a 4-film collection growing.
All right, I think we might need to get into that post mod office, but I want to make sure that Josh has a little bit of time to tell us about Dad versus Dad.
All right. So for my folks here, my dad versus your dad, I think the fighting style you're primarily going to see is brawling.
Okay.
Like, there's no doubt about it. Very stiff brawling. There's going to be lots of punches. There's not going to be a whole lot of rhyme or reason behind any of them because they weren't intending to get into this fight. It just kind of happened. You know how dads are. So they're just kind of wailing on each other throughout this cityscape, just destroying every hardware store, building that's in their way. It's just destructive and unplanned.
Okay.
Now, as far as the actual combat itself, you're gonna see mostly punches, as I said. However, you're gonna see a couple kicks when they get their confidence up. They're gonna think, "Oh, I'm gonna do this," and they're gonna throw a kick, but then that's gonna probably injure them for a brief period of time as they recover from pulling a hammy or whatever it may be. But, you know, they're going to do some stuff that they probably shouldn't because dads have supreme confidence when they don't deserve it.
Plus that old man strength kicks in.
You think Godzilla and King Kong are destroying a city? Let me show you two dads that are just absolutely beating each other's ass. Now, as far as special moves go, I think this is a very important thing for both of these folks. Now, one of our dads has a very special move that will allow him...
Let's call him Bill.
We'll call it Billzilla. Billzilla has a very special move where he's able to summon other monsters to come and help him in his fight. Now, he's going to call on these monsters, and they're going to come, and he's going to ask them to fight for him, and then within seconds, tell them they're not doing it right, and he can do it on his own. And that act of taking charge, which is what the move is called, taking charge.
Take charge. Okay.
Is going to give him the confidence and power to become even stronger because he knows he's superior to you and he doesn't need you anymore.
Does he offer him a case of beer if they come help him fight?
He does not. And he does, but then it just doesn't show up because you didn't do a good enough job. So then our other dad, R.J. Konginson, he has a very special ability to where the other dad, Billzilla, is unable to hide from him. If the monster wants to go duck behind a skyscraper, no dice. R.J. Konginson can do what is called the perfect line, which is where he can destroy city blocks and diagonals that are just perfect and pristine, alternating colors of damage across it, just like a beautifully manicured lawn.
Does he have a T-square?
He does. And as he destroys these city blocks, it inflicts damage on his opponent while also making sure he has an open battlefield to fight. Because there's nothing worse than a cluttered, ugly-looking city getting in the middle of your fight.
You all joke, but I've never seen a man be able to draw a straight line better than my dad. No longer how long on the paper he needs to draw it. His engineer brain, it's always straight, always right. And I'm like, how do you do
Listen,
that?
I did my research. I know what RJ's about. I know what Bill Ballard's about.
It's a special ability.
It would be a fight for the ages.
All right. I do have a pretty good amount of questions, but I feel like right now is a good time to go to the mod office. We have our groundwork set up, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk about what the beef is, and we're going to give us that CGI big fight description. So let's go to the mod office. We'll come back in a minute.
just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to everyone who's been listening to the show. We're seeing record growth right now, and we're just so thankful for that from everybody. We had a great month, great week, and we're blown away with your all's generosity of your time and your attention. It's very cool, and we're very thankful for that. We are currently looking for anybody who would like to partner with the show and maybe get some advertisement or sponsorship from us. We're happy to do it. You feel free, if you know someone who's looking for that kind of partnership and or looking for some extra advertisement, to reach out to us. You can email us tmiwpod.com. You can reach out to us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're available on all those. Send us a DM, send us a message, whatever. We'll happily discuss something. I'm sure we can do anything we can to help you out. Also, don't forget to like our show on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and all that. To subscribe to our show on iTunes, Spotify. And if you haven't, go ahead and give us a rate and review of 5 stars. That's great. That really helps us get climb the charts and get our show in front of new people, which in turn can help us produce better shows. So that helps us more than anything else we can do. But the best thing you can do to help us is tell one friend, just to tell them about the show. Ask them who their Godzilla would be, or ask them if their dad could kick your dad's ass. I mean, you never knows. It may be. I've never seen my dad fight, but I guess he'd be pretty good at fighting. I don't know. He would definitely be able to build some kind of apparatus and or pick the right angle of attack and then have a clean work area when he was done, like Ryan said. So we're thankful for our dads. We're thankful for our listeners, and just hope you're having a great 2021 so far, better than 2020, and move forward. Let's get back to the show and try to decide which one of us could produce bad movies by using CG.
All right, so I think the time has come, and we need to learn about the beef. So,
where's the beef?
Where is the beef? Is the real question that I have. And so we've been starting with Joe. We're gonna go back to Joe. So we've got Barney, we've got Big Bird, the 2 giant puppets, and I need to know, what is it that really brings about this epic battle?
When it came time for me to decide why there was this feud, why was there this animosity, it was easy. It was, why make it difficult? Both of these shows spent a lot of their life on PBS. Both of these shows were an anchor of PBS for a long time. But let's be honest, guys. When you say the name Barney, that is synonymous. People know that name. People know the show. It's named after him, for goodness sakes. Big Bird's tired of that. He's tired of being in the shadow of someone who's smaller than him, maybe? He's tired of being in the shadow of someone who's purple with green spots? Big Bird has his own street. Barney has a playground. The crux of this conflict is based on nothing but good old-fashioned jealousy. This battle, this feud, this is a good old-fashioned grudge match. Which one of them is going to be the main guy on PBS? The guy. We mentioned we watch wrestling. There's always a fight to figure out who's the guy on wrestling. Whether that was The Rock, Stone Cold, or now it's Drew or Roman Reigns. Who's the top guy? That's what this is. This is a battle to decide who is the king fish. Who is the boss hog? Who's going to take over and lead? Who is the Captain America? Who is the strongest Avenger? This is going to find out. Is Barney going to continue to rule the roost, or is this Big Bird's time to shine? Only time will tell. But this battle, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Did you say they're arguing over who has the most boss hog?
No, who's going to be the boss hog?
Oh, sorry. I misunderstood.
That was our last puppet episode. So this is the PBS grudge match, is what we're pitching here.
That's right. Who's the best?
I want to come back to your spinoff movies here in a minute. But Josh, Billzilla versus RJ Kong. What's the pitch here?
All right, so specifically speaking of my dad and Joe's dad, since that's what we're getting at here, the entire conflict of this battle stems from one thing, and is that Joe continues to let Ryan win on this podcast. The fact that Ryan has such a big lead has gotten under Josh. Now, I want to make this clear because the real Josh Ballard, am not sore about this at all. It does not bother me one bit that Ryan's won so much. I have no ill feelings. However, Josh, within the lore of this fight, that Josh has a lot of issues with this, and he specifically blames Joe. So he brings his anger to Joe, confronts him, and Joe says, "Oh yeah? Well, my dad could beat your dad's ass." And Josh says, "What? No, he can't. My dad could beat your dad's ass." And then because of the power of the ultimate forces of dad energy colliding for this massive fight, the dads grow to enormous sizes and begin fighting within New York City because, you know, dads hate going to places that are busy and clogged. And so they're just trying to look to clear it out mostly. And so they head up there and they just proceed to kick each other's ass. Now, it is preceded by many minutes of just stalking around each other, trying to figure out what they're going to do, making sure they're limber enough. You know, all that good stuff you get out of a dad fight. But once they start fighting, baby, destruction.
Just your classic dad on dad action.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a movie Ryan. It's a movie Ryan would not be making out during. I'll tell you that.
So Joe, the only thing the only hole that I have left in this PBS grudge match is what is going to take Barney from his normal, 10-foot height to, he's bigger than a building. Him and Big Bird. What event causes them to become super? Josh kind of explained that the heat of the battle is really what causes them to grow. So what is the cataclysmic event?
Well, one important detail I think you're forgetting is Barney is a doll for the majority of the time. It's the power of the children that grows him. That makes him become full size. So I think and this is my first movie, none of these guys are really bad guys. We don't have a Thanos. We don't have a Ronan the Destroyer. We don't have a Killmonger from Black Panther. We don't have that. But Big Bird is trying to take Barney's spot. He is going against a brother on PBS. So this is Cain. This is Abel right now. So when Big Bird grows and takes over and tries to attack Barney, there may have to be a few more children, but Barney is going to use the power of the children to defend his honor and defend his playground and grow to whatever size he needs to be in order to fight and protect what's his.
Okay. I have most of the information I need. We're going to get to the cinematic portions here in a second. But there's one more thing that I need, and I did not tell you guys this before. Now,
Josh, are you noticing a trend that Ryan likes to spring stuff on us when he does this?
Listen, you guys know, you should know by now, me as a moderator, my style is jazz. I just let it flow. It's all about the words you don't say. So what I need you guys to do is I need you to pitch me a better title, because Godzilla versus King Kong is boring. It's very descriptive, and that's great, but it doesn't really excite me. And the whole point of this topic is I need a better version of this. We already have better versions with Dad versus Dad and Barney versus Big Bird, but I need a great title. So I'm going to give you guys a second to think about it, because, sometimes it takes some thought. And then I just want you guys to just hit me with it when you're ready.
Okay. I think I've got one. Now I've got a title and a subtitle.
I love a good subtitle if it's used well.
Coming this summer. Public broadcasting. The telethon that no one wins.
Public broadcasting. The telethon that no one wins. Okay.
Coming this summer to a theater near you.
Maybe.
A battle between two Titanic beings. Dad versus dad. There's no way out. This is Zero Turn.
Oh, man.
So, okay, what's your
Zero
actual
Turn.
title name?
Zero
There's a
Turn.
lot there. Okay.
All right. It has now come to the point in the show where we have the cinematic descriptions. I need word pictures. I want to be moved. I want to feel the vibrations of Barney's feet. I want to smell the dad sweat. Here we go. I'm going to go to Joe first, like we have been all episode. I need you to really get in that headspace, picture it in your mind, and whisk us away.
Okay. Let me give you a little background first. I believe Big Bird would try to do this without violence first. So he's gonna vandalize the playground. He's gonna break toys. And Barney's gonna try to talk to him about it. But he's just gonna keep going to where it can't happen anymore. Big Bird captures their favorite piece of equipment and tells him if he wants it back, he's got to meet him on the soccer field. Barney, having no other option, takes the power of the children. He grows to heights he's never been before. Even for him, it's a little weird, but he kind of likes it because he feels so powerful, so strong. He struts out with just a confidence he's never felt before, walks out in the field, and there's Big Bird just standing over the favorite toy of the children. Big Bird looks at him, kind of smiles. He's never felt evil like this before. He likes it. It kind of makes him feel good. He sees Barney coming, and he thinks, I've got him. He's mine. And right before Barney gets there, Big Bird just squashes the toy right underneath his feet. He wants to bury it. He wants to bury Barney. Put him in a body bag, he says. That's too much for Barney. He can't hold back anymore. He charges at Big Bird. They begin to fight. A tussle ensues. Big Bird gets in some punches. Barney gets him with a bite right on the wing, clipping Big Bird. Suddenly, Big Bird tries to flap his wings, but he can't produce the force anymore. His right wing is injured. What's he going to do? Barney sees his moment. He pauses, begins to sing. I love you. You love me. We're the best friends we can be. I forgot the song. With a great big hug and a kiss from me to you. He pauses. Big Bird drops his head from 1 second. That 1 second is all Barney needs. He spins, beginning his special move. Barney connects with the super de-duper tail attack, putting Big Bird in the ground. But he doesn't take Big Bird out. He hopes that one day their relationship can be mended. Big Bird's friends come, they help him. He grows. But this is not over. Barney knows that. It's not over by a long shot. In fact, this has just begun.
All right. So Joe has launched a whole franchise based on the Barney versus Big Bird feud. Got some chills. That song, ooh, that's good. I think I actually saw Josh shed a tear or two while we were.
I did.
We were doing that.
That's because he was just hoping.
I was weeping.
He's like, just let it be over.
We need the epic battle from Zero Turn.
The film Zero Turn takes a much lighter beginning to it. Two friends making a podcast together, enjoying the camaraderie that comes with doing a Zoom call and trying to make funnies. Until that friend awards another friend a victory on the podcast. An argument ensues between the two pals, quickly becoming former pals. And they launch into a verbal tirade, separated only by miles and miles of cable, I suppose, since we're doing this via Zoom. And finally, one of them says the most dreaded words in any argument between men. My dad could kick your dad's ass. And with that, miles away at their own homes, Billzilla and RJ Kong begin to feel a little funny, and they start wondering, did I forget my medication this morning? Am I having a heart attack? They start calling for their wife. I think something's wrong. And right as that happens, they explode in size through the roof of their house, and they think that's going to cost a fortune to fix. I got to go to the hardware store. They start marching there. That is the hub of all dads. They feel called to it. And they meet in the parking lot. Two monsters. Two dads. Staring each other eye to eye. And that's when they realize, we have to do this. Begrudgingly, they start circling each other. Slowly taking off the shards of their clothes that were ripped as they turned into monsters like the Hulk.
They're just strategically placed.
Yeah, 15 minutes. Just stretching their fingers out, doing that knuckle thing. Just walking in circles, staring each other down, cracking their necks, before finally lunging at each other and then stepping back and continuing to circle each other. Unsure of how to attack initially. Finally, it is on. One lays a sucker punch right into the other. Classic dad move. Wailing ensues. They're just punching each other with their arms. Their arms they're not used to yet, so they're just knocking cars and buildings over. And they're just like trying to beat each other's ass, but they're only connecting like maybe 1 out of every 10 punches. Just nothing solid is landing. Finally, they break apart and they try to get away from each other. Try to find a different strategy. Get a little, a little sneaky. Start wandering around. That's when RJ Kong uses his signature perfect line to mow down all the buildings in front of him and expose Billzilla. Billzilla, startled by being found by RJ Konginson, calls upon his friends with the dad call. I have Bud Light! The other dad monsters appear and begin attacking RJ Konginson, but they're also not landing punches. So Billzilla calls him off and he says, I got this. Get out of here. I'll take care of this myself. And the two meet again. Punches finally start connecting. They're starting to get tired, though, and like just kind of slumping over like two boxers towards the end of a round, trying to take a break. Before finally, they both bend down and start grabbing their monster knees, trying to catch their breath. And they say, we'll have to settle this another time. Credits. Zero Turn 2 coming out in 3 years.
Well, I've made my decision. I have the information I need. I went back and forth. When Joe started out, I was honestly really skeptical that he was going to be able to build enough tension between Barney and Big Bird. But the way that he was able to talk about their special powers, the bringing in the gangs from each show, the blood feud that he created was really, really quite compelling. Now, Josh really had the appeal to every man nailed. Everybody can picture my dad versus your dad. You can find conflict between two dads anywhere. And so the humor that he went with the line and the Zero Turn was, to be honest, I feel like the better title. But when it came down to it, it really felt like the direction that Josh went was a little bit more in the SNL digital short. direction. And so that is why I have to go with Joe Robinson, Public Broadcasting, The Telethon That No One Wins. Terrible, terrible title. But
that's not great.
But man,
I
the descriptions of Barney versus Big Bird, it had me wanting more. It had me ready for the blood feud to end all blood feuds. PBS is gonna, become a new superpower in the streaming world because of this franchise. So congratulations, Joe.
Thank you very much. The title was awful.
It was on the spot.
I have no problem admitting that. It was terrible. But there's a 4-part movie planned, and the last one is an all-out war between the Muppets and the guys from Barney.
All right.
Well, I'm not going to complain.
You're not?
I'm just going to... Nope, not going to complain. I would just make sure you tell Mr. Story to watch his back.
Josh, I have a question for you. Have you ever seen or thought your dad may get in a fight?
No. Bill Ballard is a polite man. Actually, you know what? There were probably about 8 or 9 times he wanted to kick an umpire's ass during Little League Baseball.
I believe
the man
that.
got ejected quite a few times.
Well, I think that's going to do it for us. Well done, guys. I want to thank everybody for listening. We really appreciate all the support. I also want to thank Isle of 8 for the use of our glorious theme song, Jean Jacket. Go check them out anywhere you find great music.
Yeah, thanks for that. I do enjoy that song, Ryan. Go ahead, if you have not already, subscribe to our show. And while you're at iTunes, Spotify, whatever you're listening on, Podbean, whatever it is, go ahead and give us a rate and review. If you enjoy it, 5 stars. We'd really appreciate it. That would help us a ton. Just kind of helps us move up the charts and maybe gets new people who've never listened to us to click on us and give us a chance. Speaking of new people, the best thing you could do is to share the show with a friend. Just tell them how funny that we really aren't, but we try to be. We try really hard, so that's got to count for something. And if you don't like to talk to friends or don't have friends, share it on your social media. Just maybe someone out there would like to check us out. Just share the show, share our stories. We post on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, pretty regularly. I'll see my dad this weekend, so maybe I'll even post a picture of him and you guys see how utterly unintimidating he is. But he can draw a straight line like nobody's business, and he can tell you any size bolt just by looking at it. So that's pretty impressive. So, yeah, that's all I've got to say. Josh?
While you're online, head over to tmiwpod.com. Over there, you can find ways to follow us on social media, learn about us, buy some merch. We know you want that merch. And also, coming soon, we'll have the exact time coming up, but we have the live stream for the official weigh-in for Bill Ballard versus RJ Robinson coming up. We have made sure that their team's committed to them wearing shirts during it. So don't worry, you're not going to get any kind of a lot of skin or anything like that. It's very family friendly. So join us for that weigh-in. Times to be announced. Head over to tmiwpod.com to check that out.
As always, there is one winner, but we're all losers. Later, losers.
See ya.
Clean up, everybody everywhere. Clean up, Big Bird's blood everywhere.